Up a little bit. What's going on, everybody? It's your local perfect. Fix this camera a little bit. There, cool. And Outriders. The Outriders demo was out. Me and my friend Sid played the demo over on my Twitch channel. Link in the description box below for that if you want to go check that out. So this game has been making around through Twitch, through YouTube over the past week. And I gotta say, I'm a little bit mixed on it. I have some feelings, to say the least. We encountered some interesting things. And so I want to give my initial impressions of the demo, what I think about it, what I think they can do to improve on the game before it comes out. But before we get into all that, I just want to say thank you everybody for watching my video. Go ahead and leave a comment as well if you enjoyed the video. Even if you don't enjoy the video, leave a comment as well. I really want to create a community around this channel, and any engagement helps. And hey, I'm not afraid of criticism, so go ahead, leave it below, and let's get to talking. But with all that good stuff out the way, let's get into my initial impressions. What was that grab for? Yo, this game is goofy. I ain't gonna lie to you. I know it wants me to take this. It wants me to take this part serious, but he just. So for everybody that doesn't know, Outriders is an up-and-coming looter shooter, a third-person looter shooter by Square Enix that's set to come out on April 1st, I believe. And with it, it promises 4 unique classes as well as co-op looter shooter gameplay goodness. Now, I can say that during the demo, this was great. Like, the powers in the different classes, they all felt unique, they all felt different, they all felt like they had their own certain flair. It felt like whatever class you pick, it'll be completely different from the other class. And even with that, there's such a large skill tree within each class that you can customize your character to really play your own unique play style. And I think that's great. I think that's one of the best positives about the game, is the level of customization and the level of uniqueness that each class does have. And with that, within the demo, there seems to be a larger array of different types of guns. They all handle differently, from sniper rifles to shotguns to SMGs to assault rifles, and some pistols in there as well. So you have a large array of guns to choose from, and they all have the different quirks, they all have the different stats as well when you pick them up. And one thing that I really liked about this game as well was the gunplay in the enemies. And so this game, of course, is going to be compared to its other contemporaries, so Destiny, Borderlands, and The Division. And me personally, I think it closest relates to The Division, not just it being third person, but think of it as a mix of The Division and Gears of War. There are a lot of cover mechanics in this game. It operates a lot of the same way like Gears of War does, but it doesn't feel as bullet spongy as The Division does. One of the main complaints that I had with The Division is when you come across a large group of enemies, they just feel like bullet sponges. So the game never feels harder. So as you progress to the game, it never feels harder. It never feels like the enemy is getting new tactics. It never feels like the enemy is learning from my behavior and getting smarter. They just have extra armor, extra health, can do more damage. That's artificial difficulty to me. And so I really like how Outriders did this. They have an array of different types of enemies. Each one you have to learn their different patterns and adapt to them on the fly, and they don't feel like bullet sponges. Outriders makes up for the bullet sponge gimmick by just throwing waves and waves and waves and waves of enemies at you. And with this being a superpower-based game, that's great. That's great. The power fantasy in this makes you feel like a badass. Excuse my language, but Lord, you feel so overpowered. I was playing the Technomancer, my friend was playing the Trickster, and whenever I laid my turret down and those rockets just started flying and you just see this wave of blood gushing up out of everywhere, oh, it was so satisfying. It was so satisfying. Whenever he used this little time stop and would warp around and hit different people with his swords, oh, it looks so cool. For power fantasy, for the feel of the game, it feels really good. The shooting mechanics, I think, feel really good. I don't think they feel as good and as tight as Destiny or as Borderlands. That may be due to those games being first person and this being third person, but I personally prefer those because they felt a little tighter. And going along with that, we did encounter several bugs with this demo. Now, let me just say this with the demo. It starts off with the prologue, and that prologue is terrible. We had a hard time getting through that prologue. It was so boring. I know, I understand that it's there to teach you the mechanics and introduce you to the world, but it was so boring. It was so dry. The cutscenes were very cheesy. The dialogue is very cheesy and goofy. There were a lot of scenes where they wanted you to take it serious, where people were dying and, you know, tragic things were happening. But I was just sitting there laughing because it was so goofy that I couldn't take it serious. But after you get through the prologue, push through the prologue and get your powers, select your class, the game really starts to open up into what it's meant to be. And it looks to be pretty promising. It has a lot of cool powers. You have 4 different classes. It looks to be really good fun, but there are some issues. Oh boy, it has problems. With this demo, there are a ton of bugs that need to be fixed before this game comes out. There were many times where I was trying to take cover behind the wall and the game just simply wouldn't let me. The game simply wouldn't let me take cover behind the wall that I was just at. And so I would just have to run around scrambling, getting shot until I can find a wall where I can take cover behind. There was a graphical glitch with my character where one of my proximity mines just permanently got stuck to my hand. So throughout each cutscene and whenever I'm playing my character, I have this grenade or this proximity mine attached to my hand permanently, and I couldn't do anything about it. My friend said I had to completely exit out the game and come back into the game to fix a bug where he couldn't roll anymore. He just couldn't roll it. It just stopped working. He couldn't roll at all. So he had to exit out and come back in, and then it started working all of a sudden. The game isn't that optimized. When you get into the main hub of the city, the frame rate drops dramatically. You'll go from 50 to 60 frames all the way down to 30 frames. And it's not a very optimized game at all. And again, this is from the same people that brought us the Marvel Avengers game, so you see what we're working with this. But that doesn't mean that there's not fun to be had, and there's plenty of fun to be had, especially when you get a large group of people and, you know, all the powers are going off all at once. From the demo, it did seem like this would be, a lot of the areas seem very linear, and not even very linear, that's not even a word. They seemed really confined. They would just funnel you off to this one room where they would send you waves and waves and waves of enemies, and you just kill those enemies till it was all up, and then mission complete. It was fun to kill the enemies, but it wasn't all that engaging. And so I really hope that the main quest offers some more variety, and there's more different types of side quests within the main game once it is released. Also, we're both playing on PC. We have experienced this on PlayStation 5 as well, and it runs much better on PS5. Much better. If I were to make a recommendation, I would have to say get this game on PS5 or Xbox Series X, and it should run like night and day as opposed to the PC version. For whatever reason, the PC version is having a problem, and I cannot recommend that just based off of this demo, so stick to the console version. Also, one thing that I am worried about with this game is the monetization and how Square Enix will choose to monetize or add in microtransactions into this game into the future. So I will be really weary of the monetization. I have to keep a close eye on that just to see how they choose to do that. I definitely enjoyed my time with Outriders. It was a fun experience. It was a fun time. I don't think it would be as fun solo as it is co-op, but again, co-op is the main focus of the game, so I would definitely have it with friends. Also, I don't think this game is worth $60. Just based on the demo, I don't believe it's worth $60. There's too many bugs, glitches, too many things that completely took me out of the experience to say this is worth a $60 purchase. I believe if it was priced at $30 or $40, then by all means, it will be totally worth it to go in because it's simple, dumb fun. Oh, and I didn't even mention the story. It's cheesy. Don't worry about the story. It's not it's not that important. But you know, you come to this game for the power fantasy, for doing cool stuff with cool powers, and this game definitely delivers that to you, albeit with some caveats. And with that, I hope everybody enjoyed the video. All the links to my social media as well as my Twitch can be found in the description box below. And also, be sure to hit that like button and leave a comment. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm and helps my channel grow as well. So again, if you have a good comment or a bad comment, just leave it below. I really want to build a community out of this channel, and I'm not afraid of any criticism, and I'll be sure to reply back with you. But until next time, this is your local perfect. Stay blessed.